Oh, hey, hello again. Welcome to AirJobBoss here from the Glass Palace here in Dallas. Today is another exciting episode. Please like this video, share it if you find it valuable. Please subscribe for new content and comment below on all the things that I'm just wrong about. Anyway, today is general section and today is what to bring to an airline interview now and maybe what not to bring to an airline interview. But you would think that this would not be a big topic, right? Like everyone would bring what they're supposed to bring. But guess what? One of the number one reasons why you do not get a conditional job offer on that day is it's not because you messed up on the questions. Because if you've been looking at this channel, you're not going to mess up those questions. And certainly if you employ me as your advisor before you go into your next interview, you're not going to mess up on the questions. What the main reason is because people do not bring the appropriate paperwork and other items required that they email you and tell you, please bring these things to the interview, and people don't bring them. So let's go over a brief list of the obvious, and then we're going to go over a brief list of the not so obvious things you need to bring, and we're going to go over a list of things you don't want to bring to the interview. Now, first thing you need to do is you got to get yourself a cool attaché, a cool case. Now, you don't have to get a really cool one like AirJobBoss. I mean, I'm pretty next level. I'm pretty high up, so this was actually a gift. Thank you very much. But you need to get a cool case. You could probably get away with your flight kit. There's nothing wrong with that as long as it's not like too big, too bulky, and like got a bunch of stickers on it from, God knows where. You're a Jeep sticker, I heart hang gliding, Grand Canyon, Admirals Club, whatever it is. None of that. Just something tasteful, something that does not speak louder than you. So it wants to look like professional, but like toned down a little bit. Make it match your whole getup. Anyway, it's cool to have, you gotta look good out there. Oh, sorry, I dropped my microphone. Too excited. All right, back in action. All right. Okay, so get an attaché. Inside the attaché, if you will, or the briefcase, you need to have a little folder, right? You got to have the little folder because the little folder is what you're going to have out. And the case goes on the ground during the interview. And if they allow you, you're going to open up your little folder. And you're going to have certain things in your folder, right? Okay, so let's go over some of the things you need. Number one, print out the list of the things that they require you bring and bring those items. Make it like a checklist and triple check this. Triple check it, and then you're going to put it all in here and you're going to put it in that bag, and you're never going to bring it out until you get into that interview. Don't try to, make sure all that stuff, and put that checklist inside the bag. So when you're at the hotel the night before and you happen to maybe going through this, you can then repack your bag based on that checklist. You want to get that conditional job offer, that letter, that day. So you need to click all the boxes, and those boxes are on the checklist of what you need to bring, okay? So any items that they want you to carry, your birth certificate, your like I said before, your hang glider club initiation pin, your ABC airline application, Q84 form, whatever it is, get those items in there. And obviously you want to kind of put them in a little subfolder. Now this one looks expensive, I know. It's very elaborate. You don't have to be as elaborate as AirJobBoss, but here's another little secret. Go to their merchandise store on their website, or go to eBay or search on the Google, if you have it, Airline ABC folders or stationery, and see if they have one of these available, like the folders that has their logo on it. And you're going to buy that, and you're going to not buy one, you're going to buy three. You're going to buy one for you. You're going to buy another one in case you screw up the first one, and you're going to buy the third one as a gift to one of the candidates that you meet in the lobby of that airline interview, because you're going to make friends, you're going to be a team player, and you're going to be helping the other team. So buy buy their company branded folder and have it in. Can you imagine? They're going to be, oh, that's cool. That's a pretty cool folder. Where'd you get that? Oh, I got it off the merchandise shop. Have you ever been there? No, I haven't. Do we have a merchandise? I didn't know we had a merchandise. No, we've never been there. I was like, you're going to say, well, I will do all my Christmas shopping on that merchandise shop because we have a ton of stuff. Get it? We at this airline have a ton of stuff, and I'm going to do all my Christmas shopping at that place when I work here, right? Anyway, get a folder and you're going to put those documents in, what they want from you, what the stuff they want. That goes in one document. The next one you're going to have is you're going to do your extra documents, or you're going to put it directly on your little folder here. And that is, number one, your airline summary, right? Your airline profile. The profile that you've prepared for that airline needs to be kind of on the top so that they can see this and so you can reference it. And you're going to use this to take notes on as they're talking to you. You're going to write their name down on it and maybe the position they're in, the time you started or whatever. So you're going to have that airline profile, and they're going to look at the airline profile. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to my video that says airline profiles, and you're going to prepare that and you're going to have that in there. Also, you want to have their mission statement. Now, sometimes that's on the airline profile, or sometimes you can actually have it printed out on a different piece of paper, an entire independent paper where it's just their mission statement or their core values. So that's kind of a little different. You can kind of like look at it and remind yourself of it, right? Because in the waiting room, when you're waiting, if you happen to be waiting outside for your turn, guess what? You're going to bring out your little airline thing and you're going to start paging through it. You're going to be like, hody, hody, ho, here we go. I've got the profile. I'm reading about the airline. I'm looking over their CRM policy, their operational safety policy, their latest news items, and hopefully someone comes up from the interview process and catches you doing all this and says, hey, what are you reading? Oh, all this stuff I prepared for your airline, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So you're going to do all the summary, the mission statement. Then, of course, you're going to do your pilot certifications. If they tell you, don't worry, we've got them on file. You sent in a copy of them. We don't need to see them or anything. Bring them anyway. Bring them anyway, because they might say, oh, you know what? We lost them, or we didn't get those. Well, I've been in communication with you guys, said I didn't need to bring them. Bring them anyway. Okay, pilot certification, medical certificate. You need to do your radio telephony operators licensee program. I forget even what they call them anymore. Anyway, these are kind of a thing of the past. Restricted radio telephone operators permit, if required. Bring your passport. Bring your driver's license. Bring your current company identification. These are just things that you may or may not need, but if they're going to ask for them, you need to have them. And as a side note, your driver's license needs to have the same address that is associated with your application. And your application and your driver's license has to be the same address that's associated with your record for the FAA. So you want these all to be together. Also, if you have forms like a known crew member, that address should be updated. All your addresses should be updated, all consistent. This just eliminates one more snag in the operation where they're like, well, we got a driver's license that has one address, a resume that has a second address, application has a third address, and I'm wondering what address they have as the FAA. Let's look at their FAA record and see if their home address is there. And then they might ask you, hey, what is your real address? You say, well, the one on my driver's license or the one on my application. They're like, well, you're invalid. You have to have an updated mailing physical address on file with the FAA within 30 days of moving. Why is that not done? Oh my gosh, you just don't want to go in there, right? So make sure all those addresses are the same on all your documents. The next thing, okay, so you got your pilot certificates. The next thing in your attaché or your case is your pilot logbooks, right? You got to get your pilot logbooks. Now, a lot of you have an EO electronic logbook, which I highly recommend, by the way. But I would also recommend a physical copy as kind of a backup. And it's weird because it used to be that the physical logbook used to be the logbook and the electronic was the backup. But really nowadays, The electronic logbook in AirJobBoss parlances is the primary logbook, and then the physical is a backup to that. So, but what the physical logbook can do is make it a little bit quicker and easier to show them endorsements that were required. So endorsements that are required sometimes need to be written by hand in actual logbooks, and it gives them something tactile to actually look at and to page through. Otherwise, you're going to print out your electronic logbook and you're going to have that on record. So carry a physical logbook if you have one, and make sure it is identical to the electronic logbook. So all the information, the totals, that at that day should be exactly the same. So I want you to take the last page of the electronic logbook, and it should be identical to the last page in your actual physical logbook. Do not let these two get be different by even 0.01. They should be exactly. So generally what happens is you take the electronic logbook and you log that first. Then you take that record and you put it into a physical logbook. Don't do it the other way around, because the electronic logbook will reconcile the flight times, so there's no bad math. If you try to do it yourself, believe me, because I've done it for years, there's bad math in here, right? And I've had to line out at times. Actually, this is not my physical, my latest one is in my safe. That's where I keep it. But I've had to actually line out and make a correction in the totals because my math was in error. And I found that out having an electronic logbook. So please have an electronic logbook. Bring both your physical and the printout of at least your last 6 months of your electronic logbook. Okay, so bring your logbook. That's what you need as well. All right. Military service records. If they are asking you for military service records or some type of discharge papers or your availability or so forth, you need to bring those. They have specific requirements for those, and you need to bring those. So make sure you put that on the checklist. And even if they don't ask for those, get those records and bring them with you. Also, any awards that you have paperwork associated with. Some airlines will give you a letter when you become a captain, or when you become a first officer, when you become a captain, they'll give you a physical letter of achievement if you've done something great, if you become a sim instructor, if you become a check airman, if you become a chief pilot or something, and there's a specific letter that's awarded that to you. Bring that with you. It may not be necessary, but it might be a good point of conversation, especially if they're asking you, like, what other achievements have you had at your current airline, or what do you think is one of your greatest accomplishments? You can pull that letter out and say, this particular award I got right here, right? And that brings it a little bit more depth, a little bit more realism with it. So any awards you have. Also, any letters from customers or other coworkers that may have landed in your employee file. So what does that mean? At your current airline, ask them when you get an opportunity, perhaps when you're back at their location training or something, hey, do I have a company file? May I see the company file? And you might be surprised. I know in my company file, a captain wrote a nice letter for me about a flight we did on a Christmas Eve, because we were all working, and he really wanted to point out my dedication and all the help I did. So he submitted this to the chief pilot's office, which was a big deal, and I really appreciate that. But you want to get that. You want to get that and say, this is one of my, when have you delivered great customer service? Well, I have actually a letter that was delivered to the airline from a customer. Check it out. And you're going to give it to them. And that's just going to bolster the storytelling, and it's going to give a lot of validity to it and put a lot of integrity into it, because you've actually got documentation. You don't need documentation for all these answers. Don't get me wrong. We're not going to be pulling out documentation to prove that we've got good conflict resolution skills or something like that. But if it comes up, it's interesting. Okay, so any awards, and then of course letters of recommendation. You're going to keep copies of letters of recommendation, even though the companies have electronic means for recommendation. Most companies will have an electronic means because it's all nice and tidy. you want to actually ask your contacts that are writing you letters of recommendation or giving you a letter of recommendation, say, hey, do you mind if I actually get a physical copy for my, or can you write something in a physical and send it to me in a PDF? Do you mind, or something like that? And try to get a physical copy. These go a long way, and you might have an opportunity to present these to them. Okay, if they need your national driver's record, you probably should get this. You probably need to get this anyway. Try to get the National Driver's Registry, especially if you've got tickets, and get the last 5 years. Your PREA, you're going to need printed out. There's also another document. If you go into your FA.org, or wait, FA.gov, you can pull out your entire airman file. And there's a couple of different types of files, and they change from time to time. But of course, if you come to AirJobBoss, we're going to get all this stuff worked out for you, especially in my concierge career counseling. We go over all this, and we get all this stuff lined up for you, so you always have it available. Those FA records, especially if you have a check ride failure, those are going to show up, and they have notations on that. So you're going to want to get that. Now, they may not ask you for that. They will certainly get it, but it's nice that you have it and you know what's on it as well, and carry it with you just in case you have to make an explanation. So because they're going to ask you about failures. This is a big part of the airline interview process. They're going to say, have you ever failed a check ride? This is pretty much every interview, okay? And you're going to have to explain that. So it's nice to know what they know about it, and that is from your FA records. So you want to carry those and be aware of those. Okay, so that we're going to carry that. Yes, yes, yes. We got all that. We've got our airline profiles, letters of recommendations, award, military service awards, military service records, pilot certificates, medical certificate, passport, driver's license, ID from your current airline, logbook electronic printout. Now, like I said, try to make it all kind of nice and professional looking. Get it in the bag. What not to carry. Okay, so you're going to go to the interview, right? And you're going to be carrying this in, and you're like, okay, I got to go from 8 o'clock in the morning, maybe 7 a.m., and I'm going to be there till 3:30 in the afternoon. I better be prepared. I better bring some things that AirJobBoss didn't tell me to bring that I think I'll need. Here's what not to bring in your attaché. Food items. Do not bring food items. Can you imagine if there is a brown banana in the bottom of this? You pull out your logbook and there's just nothing but brown banana all over it. You don't bring food items, okay? Another thing, don't bring extra sets of clothing items like socks, underwear, t-shirt. Leave those in your bag. Leave those in your bag. And you can have your bag nearby. Put your 20, your roller, you're bringing it to the interview. Store it away. It's there if you need it. Not here. Not here. This is for business. All right, here's another thing. Toiletries. Do not bring extra toiletries in your bag. Toothbrush, deodorant. Now, if you have a small thing of perfume that you want to pop, you can probably do that. I don't recommend really strong fragrances in general. If you have makeup or a hairbrush, you could bring that. If you have a medical requirement that you need medications or something like that, you can bring that. That's okay. But let's not bring too much into your personal life. This is your professional life, and you should have come prepared. For example, what's in your flight kit? Now, I know a lot of people, you know what, forget about that, because I've seen some of these flight kits, and there is so much stuff. Do not pack this like your flight kit. This is different. This is going to be packed just like a professional interview, so don't pack that like your flight kit. Anyway, that's it for today. Look it. If you have an important interview coming up and you need good preparation, one-on-one preparation, your story is unique, and you're not going to be able to formulate good answers by going to group interview preparation or mass preparation. You're going to have to do this one-on-one. That's what AirJobBoss does. I have a lot of experience in the airline industry, and I can provide you with great guidance based on your personal experience, your talents, and your skills to execute this interview in a way you will be proud of. You will end that interview walking out going, that is the best execution I have done. That's the best interview I've ever done. And win or lose, get the job or not get the job, I've done my best today. That's the goal of my policy. That's the goal of my process. So if you have an important interview coming up, you can click the link below at AirJobBoss.com and find more of my service. I do two services. One is a concierge career counseling service. This has to do with kind of a little bit more in depth. For example, right before you get your ATP to the time you get your major airline job, I will carry you through and guide you through that entire process, no matter how long it takes. Or I have a very specific interview preparation package, which is preparing you once you have an interview or once you're very close to getting that interview. I will prepare you for that very specific interview, that very specific airline. The concierge service provides you with service to every airline interview you're going to get within a 12 calendar month service contract, okay? Anyway, go to the link below and find out more about what I do. Before you purchase anything from AirJobBoss.com, please contact me at info@AirJobBoss.com, and then we will discuss what service is good for you, if I feel I can help you, if I feel the service is correct for you or not, all right? And if I have time, because I do carry a full flight schedule, I do have other outside responsibilities, so my time is incredibly limited. Thanks so much for joining me today, and look forward to seeing you in the next video at AirJobBoss TV.